just a crazy day. It's been a crazy few days, obviously. But look, I hesitate to say they needed a win because I don't really know where they're at this point in terms, like, oh, they need a win. Like, yeah, I mean, they wanted to win. And if you're still rooting for them to win games, you want them to win. They've dug themselves a really deep hole. I'm not going into these games now expecting this team to, go on a 8-game winning streak and put themselves back in the playoff chase. They've dug themselves a very deep hole. But there was an element, especially given all the outside noise, where like you kind of just were like, yeah, if you can get a win, maybe you can quiet this down a little bit, and maybe the temperature will go down a little bit. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it certainly doesn't hurt to get the win and to beat a team like, look, the Capitals were in the second game of back-to-back. This is a game that honestly you should win. Capitals are a good team. They're not a great team. They've underwhelmed this year relative to expectations, but given the situation, given the fact that they're using I would say unproven goalie, because I know he had a really good game last night, but you're using him in the second straight game. You're coming in playing last night. Like, the Flyers should have won this game, but they've been struggling. So you don't know if they're going to win this game, even if they have a schedule advantage. And they found a way to do it. They found a way to do it by getting a power play goal in the third period. So, yeah, I come away satisfied with this one, sure.
No, I just lower the temperature is exactly how I've said it. Like, need a win. Yeah, I don't. Honestly, I'm in tankathon mode here. But this kind of felt different. Like when the GM has to come out pregame and be like, listen, the star player isn't going anywhere. Like clearly things have gone off the rails a little bit. And like just to look a little bit competent, they've lost 11 straight to Eastern Conference opponents. They lost 6 straight at home. Like, they just needed to calm things down a little, and I feel like they did that tonight. And they did that following, like I said, Danny Briere coming out trying to throw a little bit of water on the flames that have been burning since our interview with Rick Tocchet on Sunday. We're going to get into this a lot tomorrow. We have the 4 o'clock show tomorrow. We're going to show clips, break it all down, blah, blah, blah. But what was your biggest takeaway from Danny Briere's pregame comments tonight?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest takeaway, I think, is the main message he was trying to get across was we as a front office, we as an organization still very much believe in and support Matvei Michkov. Now, he acknowledged, and I guess if you needed that final confirmation, he confirmed on the record that Michkov didn't come to camp in the best of shape. So now I guess it's like, well, if you don't believe Danny Briere, you're not going to believe anybody. But the main message was not to throw Michkov under the bus. The main message was to say, we are behind this guy. He's not going anywhere. Obviously he's not going to go out there and say we're firing Rick Tocchet in 5 minutes, but there was a message of like, Tocchet is on board with this. And look, you can read between the lines if you want, but my guess is that Danny had to talk to everybody involved and just be like, hey, I think back, and again, I'm not saying this kind of meeting actually happened, but I'm thinking back to that meeting. This was like 20 years ago when Torts was coaching the Tampa Bay Lightning, and basically when the owner of the Lightning, when Torts and the Cavalier were feuding, and the owner of the Lightning basically put them in a room and said to Le Cavalier, like, we're not trading you, and then he said to Torts, like, we're not firing you. Neither of you guys are going anywhere, so you got to figure it out. And it seems like that more or less was Danny's message of, we believe that Rick can figure this out. We believe that Matvei can figure this out. We believe that after he has an awesome summer, that everything's going to be peachy come next season. I guess we'll see. But I think Danny said, he said the right things in terms of support of Michkov. And if you came away from that still believing that they're like, I guess my view is that if you came away from that still angry, I don't think there was anything he could have said other than I'm firing Rick Tocchet tonight that would have satisfied you. I think that's more or less my view.
Yeah, that's it. It just kind of felt like Danny coming out and saying, I know this is blowing up and it feels like Lindros, it feels like Richards and Carter. It's not. And that's kind of what it felt like tonight. Just like everybody take a step back. Yes, some things were said. Yes, maybe they got blown out of proportion, whatever, but everything isn't like on fire, maybe the way some fans feel it is. Getting to Michkov on the ice tonight. Plays his, I think it was his 11th or 12th most ice time of the season. Picks up the assist in the first period on the Owen Tippett goal. Made a nice play to get the puck to Sanheim. What did you think of Michkov overall tonight?
Yeah, I thought he was good. And obviously makes a really good play on that first goal. I actually, after the game, I specifically asked Tocchet, not actually about that play, but I wanted to ask him about his Mishkov's shift lengths because they were much longer than they have been recently. And I asked if that was something that, the Flyers and Tocchet had talked to Matvei about, and he pretty much confirmed that, yeah, they had that, hey, obviously if you're tired, get off the ice, but if you've got that energy, let's try to stay out there maybe longer than he has been recently. Michkov certainly did that tonight. There was a big reason why his overall ice time was up, especially in comparison to where it was Saturday, but even in comparison to where it's been, before Saturday. I think he finished with around like 16 minutes, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, just under 16, I think.
Yeah, so I wanted to get that point of clarification, and it does seem like that was a that was a conversation point behind closed doors, which it should be. Like, I get the out of shape thing, but like I'm pretty sure Michkov can handle 40-second shifts. I don't think that it's that bad, and I like the fact that now in this game he was taking more normal shift lengths, and therefore the ice time is more reasonable. But when I asked that question, Tocchet acknowledged that, and then he had some praise for Matvei in terms of the play that he made on the goal. So it is possible for Rick Tocchet to send some praise Matvei Michkov's way. Again, I don't know for sure, but I have to believe that, Danny Briere may have had a conversation with Rick Tocchet.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah.
And just been like, look, I get you may be frustrated with this, but we need to lower the temperature here. It seemed like on multiple levels, like Tocchet was trying to lower the temperature, and I could, as a media person, I could say that was much appreciated.
Oh, Charlie, you think it was calculated that Michkov's line started the game and that the mid-period interview that's usually with the assistant coaches was with Rick Tocchet right after the Flyers scored and he praised Michkov's play? I don't know. I think that was just coincidence.
Very organic.
Totally coincidence.
Yeah.
Someone you and I have been arguing about a little bit lately, just in terms of overall effectiveness, is Sean Couturier.
Good tonight.
Listen, he didn't end the goalless drought, but I thought he played pretty damn well tonight. What did you think of Coots? Did you notice him?
I didn't think he was bad. I'm actually kind of surprised that you're singling him out in a positive way, because there were a few times where he did his offensive zone fumbling of the puck. It does seem like, and look, I'm not denying that he slipped physically. Like, that's apparent that he slipped physically, but I watch him with the puck in the offensive zone, and I really see a guy who is just trying too hard. He's trying to, he's overthinking things in the offensive zone. He more or less admitted that to us yesterday when we talked to him after practice, that he's probably gripping the stick too tight, and it seems like that's what's happening. But as usual, I thought he made good plays in the defensive zone. He made good plays in the neutral zone. He just needs to score some freaking goals, man, and he knows it.
Yeah.
But just because he knows it doesn't absolve him. He still has to score some freaking goals.
Yeah, he played defensive blue line. He made a really nice play in the third period to strip a puck and get it out. He made a nice play at the offensive blue line, a diving play to keep it in. Thought he kept some pucks alive in the corner tonight. I just thought overall, like, I am kind of beyond he needs to score sometimes, but I'm just kind of beyond like, oh yeah, he's going to be a 45, 50-point player. I just want to see him be more effective overall, and that'll lead to a few goals. And I thought I saw him at both ends of the ice do a little bit more than he has lately. The fan base obviously has been all over the coach's apparent negative impact on Matvei Michkov, but I got to tell you, I have never seen Owen Tippett play this well.
That's true.
This consistently in his time here in Philly. Now, I don't know if you are prepared to talk about what kind of impact Tocchet has had on Tippett, but Tippett overall over the last 2 months has been one of their, if not their best player, and I thought that continued tonight. What'd you think of Tippett?
I thought Tippett was great. I mean, the goal is great. It's a great power move to the net. Fantastic play. Great pass by Michkov to Sanheim. Great pass by Sanheim to Tippett. Tippett makes a fantastic play in front of the net. So love to see that. But to me, the play that sticks out was that rush that he had on Jacob Chikrin, where he draws the penalty. Because, look, if you if you turnstile, Joel Edmondson or something, like a guy who is just like a big lumbering bruiser, it's cool. It's cool to watch Owen Tippett blow by a defenseman who just isn't that fast. But Jacob Chikrin is a really good skater. Like he's like a Sanheim-ish kind of skater, where that's his calling card, that he's a big guy who just skates like a horse. And Tippett blasted by him like he was standing still. That was awesome to watch. He manufactures that power play basically out of thin air, out of sheer straight line speed. Somebody on one of the social media sites pointed out, like, it's been really cool to see him stop trying to be a sniper this year and try more to be a power forward. And I think that's a really good way to put it, because he does appear to be playing more of a power forward game as opposed to a perimeter, just shoot the puck and hit the glass a ton of times, because like he's not actually getting to dangerous areas, just trying to score from distance. I've really liked what we've seen from Owen Tippett. And if you look at the underlying numbers, his underlying numbers, especially since like the start of December, have been fantastic at 5-on-5. I do think he's low-key taking a step this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about Tippett taking the puck to the net more, playing more that power forward role, he'll create more room for himself to use that shot. And it won't always be a stick in the lane, because a guy is backing up ready to get charged at, rather than thinking, he's just going to rip it from anywhere. And I think that's going to become even more effective for him as time goes on. All right, Chuck, we saw Trevor Zegras at center for the third straight game. Now he's also taking a lot of shifts. I saw him out there with Coots a lot, and the third winger changed. Some points it was Grunstrom, at some points it was TK, at some point it was Tippett, but we did see Zegras at center some. What are you thinking of this experiment thus far?
In all honesty, I liked him a lot. In this game, it's funny. You guys were pointing out, like Couturier's game. I liked Zegras' game down the middle of the night. I thought he played a good game. I thought he was active. There were a couple plays. There was one play at the end of the first period where there's a loose puck. This is in the offensive zone, to be clear. So this is Zegras' zone. You expect him to be good in the offensive zone, but there's a loose puck, and he just like battles through two guys to recover the puck and create a really dangerous opportunity with the clock running down at the end of the first period. Like, those are the kinds of plays, because he had been producing some points even when he was going through this little downturn during January, but you weren't seeing that drive. Like, I feel like he wasn't playing with the same pace, and he wasn't playing with the same intensity that he was playing with from October through December in January. I thought tonight you saw him playing with that pace. You saw him playing with that drive. He looked like a very locked in, intense version of Trevor Zegras tonight. I really liked his game. And look, he's never going to be perfect defensively, especially not now. He's kind of reacclimating himself to playing center more often. But I watched a guy tonight who looked very much like an NHL caliber center to me.